Hey Scorpios, welcome to March 2019. Okay, so cards already popped out for you guys, and that is all about your foundation. Okay, so your foundation is cracking right now. It's crumbling beneath you, which is a good thing because as a Scorpio, you guys rule transformation. You guys thrive off of it. This is something that is almost needed in order to propel you back onto your soul's path. So emotionally, you guys are doing really well, but what you haven't owned and faced yet is that emotionally you need to move on because you're losing sleep, you're not at peace when it comes to the amount of giving, emotionally giving, you've been doing to a female fire sign, female energy fire sign. So this is Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. It could be their moon sign or their rising sign. This person has a lot more abundance than they give themselves credit for. And I'm seeing a V. It's almost like they're waiting, they feel victorious when they've accomplished something, and they haven't accomplished something in a very long time because they keep combing through details instead of just accepting things for what they are. So for instance, they'll see, okay, well, it could be, you know, this person is looking for a new place to live, and instead of just accepting things for how they are, they're really combing through, well, maybe it's maybe this, maybe that, maybe this person is, you know, not a good landlord, or this person is not a good person to buy from, or, you know, look at the details of the crown molding. There's something about this person when it comes to their details that it blocks them from their abundance because they're more focused on the inconsequential small things instead of visionary big picture items. So what you haven't faced yet, Scorpio, is that your foundation, your home and foundation is completely crumbling. So that root stuff that created who you are, the things from your ancestry, from your parents, from your grandparents, all of that lineage is now crumbling away so that you can feel more emotionally content, more emotionally happy. You're not holding on to a lot of those deep emotions. I find that Scorpios, a lot of the times they feel like people don't understand them because their emotions are so intense and so deep, and they can be very dark. A lot of their thoughts can be very dark. So they feel like they can't express that. Especially if you have problems within your family about expressing your truth. Like you've been, you know, in your childhood, you were called out for a dark thing that you said or did. Actually, it's funny because they have, on Twitter, they have name a time when you were totally on brand when it came to your sun sign. And you should hear some of the stuff about these Scorpios, you know. When I was 5, I you know, wanted to give a funeral to my cat that was still alive. I forget which one it was. I forget what it was, but you should Google it because some of the things that Scorpios have done in their childhood is just so on brand. And in their childhood, a lot of the times, Scorpios families will say, hey, you know, that's too intense. That's too deep for a child. And they suppress that. So now in adulthood, you're starting to clear that baggage away and say, you know what, they really did me wrong when they suppressed my intuitive energy or my darkness. They really did me wrong in that aspect. And now I'm trying to just embrace it and say, yeah, I have dark energy. We all do. I use it to my advantage in a really positive way. I'll give you a very, very broad example. My husband is a Scorpio, and we were watching 30 Rock, and his intuition was like, you want to bang Alec Baldwin. And I knew that if I lied, the Scorpio in him would totally call me out. But I knew if I told the truth, the Scorpio in him would totally call me out. So I just said, you know what? You use your intuition for evil. How dare you? Yeah, I do. Alec Baldwin is hot in this, okay? So something along those lines, you're starting to realize that your structure, your root, your ancestry is not serving you in the way that is beneficial to who you are and who you want to be. So your foundation is crumbling because of that. And you're okay with it. You're actually kind of forcing your foundation to crumble. You're actually fighting it, saying, no, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to make changes. I feel emotionally content. So I don't want to keep feeling like my emotions are not valid because they're too dark, right? So what you haven't faced, Scorpio, is that emotionally you need to move on from the amount of giving you do for this female fire sign, okay? Female fire energy, I should say. They're very proud. They're very confident and cocky as well. And that's one of the reasons why you're so drawn to them, because that cockiness, what is it? Somebody just said that Leo is just a cocky Scorpio, just a cocky Scorpio, because Scorpios do have that confidence that Leos feel like they need to express, right? Scorpio is that silent confidence, the silent one in the corner of the room that people are naturally drawn to, where Leo is like, no, look at me, right? So that's something that you've definitely acknowledged with this fire sign, is that they're screaming, look at me, and you actually admire that because you wish that you could confidently say, no, I'm right here. I don't want to keep, having to pull you in psychically. I want you to see that I'm confident and I'm emotionally capable on my own without me having to convince you of that. So you have uncovered something within a relationship that you can now intuitively clear, right? Okay, so this reading, Scorpio, for your March 2019 is about a young earth sign. So that's Cancer, that is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I don't know why I said Cancer, but I'm seeing the bat. I'm seeing the bat symbol from Batman. You are constantly feeling like you need to save this person. You need to be this person's hero. Okay, you need to be their super Scorpio for them. Mainly because a lot of the growth that they've done or / are doing is because of your confidence in them, because of your, like when a Scorpio supports somebody, when you have a Scorpio on your side, you're unstoppable. Like everybody needs a Scorpio in your life because you guys are really able to push people by just saying, tell them to screw off. It's like the most common, it's like the most understanding that anybody can ever have is just a Scorpio saying, well, tell them to screw off, right? Tell them, why do you have to explain yourself to them? Just tell them this. And it's like, oh yeah, thanks, Scorpio. And that's that darkness that they are able to use in a positive way. So this young earth sign that definitely has an H in their name, either their first, middle, last, or maiden name. This is the main spotlight in your life this month. And the obstacle and the aid to this young earth sign is an older energy earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Masculine, I think there's an E in their name or an E on their heart. So maybe lost somebody with an E in their name. This person is very narrow-minded. They constantly look down on people. They're constantly looking down on others. And I feel like I'm seeing like a burnt flag in their past. So it's almost like they used to live in another country, but they moved over here, or they have lineage from another country that they are actively trying to burn that away or kind of cleanse themselves from a lot of the conditioning that they had back in their home country. And that is another reason why they've actually created the opportunity and the space for you to do a lot of your cleansing as well, your generational curses cleansing, because they've started doing the work. So you have to give them a little bit of kudos to that, a little bit of acknowledgement to that, because they truly are just doing their best. Okay, but they are the obstacle and the aid when it comes to your relationship with this young earth sign. You need to look at your relationship with this older earth sign and recognize that the young one and the older one, they're one and the same. They're almost the same person, if they aren't the same person. They're very similar. So the things that you love in this older earth sign, you have to acknowledge in the younger one, and vice versa, right? The things that you love in the young earth sign, you have to acknowledge in the older one. And the things that you hate, the things that you can't stand, you have to acknowledge in both of them. So as much as you're putting a lot of your weight behind this young earth sign because you feel like their savior, you need to also look at the older earth sign and be like, well, maybe they need saving too. Maybe instead of just giving them, a lot of the angry resentment and whatever, and a lot of the blame, you have to be like, okay, well, maybe they also need to be force-fed abundance and positivity and optimism in order to combat their negativity, okay? Because at the end of the day, it all comes back to having a happy family. That's really what this earth sign is all about, both of them. It's all about just family taken care of, everybody feeling like they can contribute in a positive way, and also contribute emotionally. So if this earth sign was the one who shut down your emotions as a child, especially those dark emotions, that was out of their own fears. Hey, don't talk like that. Be careful. Don't say that. Don't do that. That could get you in trouble. A lot of the times it could end up being our family that ends up being more suppressing to us. And it's truly just out of fear. It's almost like, no, I don't like, this is a heavy as hell topic, but I was just watching a show where they're talking about this guy being kidnapped by his dad and being sent to a conversion church. And as a Libra, I'm trying to find, I'm like, how the hell can somebody think that that's right? To try and change their child, the child that they give birth to. And I'm like, oh, it's because the world is so brutal, right? It's because maybe they feel that the world that they grew up in, which is so different from the world that we're living now, didn't accept people who are different. They wanted people to just, oh, it was a documentary called Not Far from the Tree, where a guy was, his mom, when he came out to his mom was like, I just want the best for you. I just care about you. And I know that the world is so difficult for somebody who's different. So looking at this earth sign and saying, yeah, they suppressed me and I'm angry about that, but it truly was coming from a place of love, even though it may not seem like it. And that's where you have to find and use your intuition as a Scorpio. Use those dark emotions to say, hey, I'm angry as hell at you. I feel like you really suppressed me in a major way. You didn't accept me for who I was as a child. And now I'm feverishly just trying to find out who I am now because you didn't just allow me to express myself. Try to scale it back and be like, oh, okay, you loved me. That's what it is. And you still love me and you still care about me and you still hope that I don't suffer because of who I am. Okay. It's truly coming from love. And I really hope that you guys can use this month to change your heart and change your frame of mind when it comes to this person and accept them as someone who loves you, right? And who does want to see you happy. So subconsciously, new emotions forming, new feelings about things, just very pure, very, very pure. The new feelings that are coming in for you Scorpios this month are something that it's like a bell that rings off in your hell. It's like in your head. Maybe because you've gone through hell for so long that it's now like, okay, here's your heaven, you're being rewarded. And I'm seeing like Jiminy Cricket's little conscious or little conscience. So allowing the good to come out, so although you may have some negative thoughts, allowing that little Jiminy Cricket bug to say, hey, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's okay. Those new feelings will require you to kind of say screw you to a lot of people that aren't supporting your new self. But that's for the best. You've been working very hard, Scorpio. You have a lot to be proud of when it comes to your accomplishments, almost in spite of this earth sign, the one that said that you couldn't do it. My husband, like I mentioned, is Scorpio. And he was saying growing up that it was really hard. Nobody ever really told him that he's special, that he could do more, that he could achieve a lot. And that's something that as kids you need to hear, right? So now he's trying to undo all of that by telling himself through positive affirmations that he's worthy, right? And looking at what he's accomplished in spite of the people saying you're not going anywhere. Think of Lady Gaga, right? Like there's this post out right now that literally shows the Facebook group that says Stephanie, Gia, whatever Lady Gaga's real name is, will never be famous. Like literally somebody created a Facebook group saying that she will never be famous. Her ex-boyfriend said, you're not going anywhere. You're a loser. You can't sing. You're not doing anything. Now look at her. She's like the first woman to win, three awards in 1 year. Like she's just shattering all of the naysayers in a really positive way. I don't know. I think she has her moon in Scorpio. She's an Aries moon in Scorpio. Yeah. So Lady Gaga. And if you haven't seen Star is Born, I urge you guys to do it. Lady Gaga could be like your guys' role model this month to say, even in spite of the naysayers, in spite of the people that push me down constantly, I still thrive. I've still accomplished so much, okay? Because right now people are seeing this new power forming within you, this new empowerment when it comes to your home and family and what you're creating and what you want to create. You're dead set. You're not embarrassed by your goals anymore. You're happy to express them and to say, this is what I plan on doing. You're happy to step into that power and say, watch me, I can achieve. You think that I'm just this? Guess what? I ain't. So that's a really, really positive energy to be working with. Family and friends, they know that you have a lot of opportunities, but they're kind of like waiting on you to do it. They're like, when is Scorpio going to release the one thing that they've been holding on to for so long and start embracing these new opportunities? They're kind of like, what are you doing? Even though it may not seem like it, because they haven't been supportive in the past and you kind of feel like you need to break away from them in order to accomplish, they are waiting for you to just step into it. They have very high expectations of you. Family and friends, not the hidden enemies, not the haters, not the friend of friends, but actual family and friends that you know. So the friends that you consider family, the ones that you know support you, especially the person with a C in their name. Yeah, that person, they're there for you, 100%. Hope and fear is overburden of responsibilities when it comes to starting something new. So these new emotions will bring in some confusion over what you're working for and what you're working toward and why. So you have a hope to be overburdened with responsibilities because you can kind of like just keep your head down and grind hard, but you also fear that because you know that that's going to be quite excruciatingly burdening on you. It's going to feel like a lot of pressure and a lot of weight. And if you're overburdened with responsibilities, it will impact your relationship with this young earth sign, and it'll feel like you can't be their savior anymore. So it's almost like a double-edged sword where it's like, I can save you if I work hard, but I can't save you if I'm constantly working hard, right? Like it's kind of a little bit of a push and pull right now in your life. Let's see. The outcome, though, dear Scorpio, is you're going to keep thinking about all that you've accomplished. And when I say thinking about it, I mean celebrating it. It's time to really take a second to celebrate and say, yeah, I'm not the same person I was even just 2 years ago. I've transformed so much, and I want to celebrate my accomplishments, celebrate them through some sort of self-love, self-care, investing back in yourself, going on a trip, going and getting a nice massage, pampering yourself and not feeling guilty about it. With this energy, judgment does come in, okay? Judgment will come in mainly because you're independently accomplishing a lot, and the people around you, these earth signs and this fire sign as well, is feeling insecure about it because they're like, Scorpio is transforming, especially if they're in your friends and family. They know that you have created a lot of opportunities for yourself in spite of what they said you can and cannot do because of their own insecurities, okay? So you're gonna get a lot of judgment. You're gonna get a lot of judgment, but you don't care. You don't care. You've accomplished a lot. You have a lot to be proud of. Screw the judgment. If they're going to judge you, let them. The one quote that I always like to use is, the people who are talking behind your back, it's because they're behind you, right? They're not ahead of you. They're not with you. They're not on par. They're behind you. And that's why it's so easy for them to talk about you. So let them talk, let them chit chat. You're transforming, you're growing, you're positive, you're expansive, you're emotionally content. Let them talk. And the most important thing though, Scorpio, is to recognize that you know who's talking that crap behind your back. You know exactly who it is. It's time to just let them loose. Even, this may be a very unpopular opinion, but I think even if it's family, it's not worth it. Like I have a Libra sister who my life feels lighter and better when she's not in it. So I just go with that, following your joy, following what feels like the path of least resistance. And if you have a relationship, especially with this fire sign and this masculine, very hard energy earth sign, if you find that it's not flowing and you don't feel good, you don't even want to be around them because they don't feel good, honor that intuitive nudge to just slowly separate yourself from them. You're going to get judged, but focusing on what you've accomplished, focusing on these new emotions, focusing on your power, focusing on the young earth sign, and focusing on your responsibilities will distract you enough to release this person without it being a huge hit, right? You can just kind of deviate your attention for a little bit. And then when you look back up, you'll be like, oh, this person isn't in my life in a nagging, annoying way anymore. They've kind of let me go as well. They've got the hint. So Scorpio, that's all I have for you guys for March 2019. As always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. And if you want a personalized reading, my details are below. I'll see you guys in April. Love you guys.